Welcome to Made in Ukraine Insights, your gateway to discovering the innovation, resilience, bravery, and excellence of Ukrainian manufacturing and businesses. I'm Sophia, and each week I'll bring you inspiring stories of Ukrainian entrepreneurs and manufacturers who are revolutionizing global trade. From agricultural innovations to curing-edge technology, we showcase the best of what Ukraine offers to international markets. Powered by Factorist.com, Ukraine's leading B2B marketplace, this podcast connects you with verified Ukrainian manufacturers and their success stories. Whether you're a global trader, wholesaler, or business leader, you'll discover unique opportunities and insights that can transform your supply chain.
Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is going to be a really fascinating one. We're looking at Italian design and how it's playing a role in Ukraine's reconstruction.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unexpected pairing.
It is. I mean, you don't immediately think of those two things together, but when you start digging into it, it's really amazing to see how these two worlds are coming together.
Definitely.
So to get us started, we've got a bunch of sources we're going to be looking at. Some articles from nsa.it, some info from the Igor Sikorsky Kyiv Polytechnic Institute website.
Okay.
And even some stuff about Factorist, which is a Ukrainian business platform. Oh, and some coverage from Property Times, too. So, yeah, we've got a lot to unpack.
Sounds like it.
But that's what deep dives are all about, right? Getting into the nitty-gritty and seeing what we can learn.
Absolutely.
So to kick things off, let's talk about this Italian Design Day 2025 event. It was held in Kyiv just this year, and the theme was Design for Reconstruction, Inclusivity and Innovation.
Yeah, that's a really powerful theme when you think about the context.
It is. And they held it at the Igor Sikorsky Kyiv Polytechnic Institute. And from what I'm reading, it was a packed house.
Really?
Yeah. Students, professionals, media, everyone was there. It seems like there's a lot of interest in this topic.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, design is playing such a crucial role in rebuilding Ukraine right now.
Exactly. And it's not just about rebuilding structures. It's about rebuilding lives, communities, and a sense of hope for the future.
You know, we usually think of design in terms of aesthetics.
Right.
But in this case, it's taking on a much deeper meaning.
Absolutely. And speaking of deeper meaning, did you see who was at this event? Some pretty big names.
I did see that, yeah. Italy's ambassador, Carlo Formoso, was there.
Right.
And Ukraine's deputy culture minister, Anastasia Bondar.
Yep. And even the university's rector, Anatoly Melnichenko.
Wow, so both countries were really represented at a high level.
They were. It definitely sends a strong message about how seriously they're taking this collaboration. And it's not just about rebuilding. It's about rebuilding in a way that benefits everyone. And that idea of inclusivity, sustainability, social inclusion, it was woven throughout the entire event.
I think it's so important, especially in a situation like this where there are so many needs.
It is. Okay, so let's talk about who's actually doing the designing. I know a lot of Italian groups participated. Did you come across any names you recognized?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Some heavy hitters in the architecture and engineering world. ID Group was there.
Okay.
Fondazione Il Girasole, Fondazione Franco Albini.
Wow, yeah, those are big names.
And Associazione Jazz, Design Jazz.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
They do some really innovative work with urban design.
Cool. So they all brought their expertise to the table.
They did. And they were all focused on sustainable and inclusive urban design, which is really key for rebuilding in a way that's both resilient and equitable.
It's like they're not just rebuilding what was lost, they're trying to build something even better.
Exactly. And it wasn't just a one-way street of Italian firms coming in and saying, here's how you should do things.
Oh, good, because that wouldn't have gone over very well.
Right.
Yeah.
But no Ukrainian firms were actively involved, too.
Like who?
Machno and Zemelin, for example.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of their work. Very cool stuff.
They're both really focused on meeting the needs of local communities. So it's a true collaboration.
I love that. So it wasn't just a top-down approach. It was about working together to find solutions that really work for the people who will be living in these spaces.
Exactly. And that's where I think this story gets really interesting. You see these immediate collaborations happening, which is great. But what about the long-term impact?
That's a great question. Could this lead to even more partnerships down the line? Joint ventures?
It's possible. This could reshape the landscape of Ukrainian industry in a way that benefits both countries.
That would be incredible. And it's not just about rebuilding what was lost, but about creating something new and potentially even better.
It's a really exciting prospect.
It is. Oh, speaking of building new things, one of our sources mentioned Factorist. Have you ever heard of them?
Factorist.
It's a Ukrainian B2B marketplace. They seem to be playing a key role in all of this.
I'm not familiar with them. What do they do?
Well, they're all about connecting businesses.
Okay.
In this case, they're actively working to connect Ukrainian manufacturers with Italian buyers.
Interesting. So they're helping to facilitate these reconstruction efforts.
Exactly. They're like a matchmaker bringing together the people who need stuff with the people who can provide it.
That's smart.
Right. And it's not just one way. They also help Italian vendors enter the Ukrainian market.
So it's about creating a flow of resources and expertise in both directions.
Exactly. It's about building those relationships and creating a more sustainable and equitable system.
I like that.
Me too. Okay, so we've talked about the event itself and the players involved, but let's shift gears a bit. Did you see anything about the Italian embassy in Kyiv?
The embassy.
Yeah, they did something pretty cool. A light art installation on their facade.
Oh, yeah. I read about that. It was designed to blend Italian and Ukrainian cultural elements.
It did, and it was beautiful. But it wasn't just about aesthetics. It also had a practical purpose.
What do you mean?
Well, Kyiv has been dealing with power cuts because of the conflict, right?
Right.
This installation actually provided additional public street lighting.
Oh, wow. So it was both beautiful and functional.
Exactly. It's this perfect blend of art and practicality and a really powerful symbol of hope and resilience.
I love that. It's like they're saying, even in the midst of darkness, we can create beauty and light.
Exactly. Okay, but beyond these immediate projects and the symbolism, I'm curious about the long-term impact. Do our sources say anything about that?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was the role of education in all of this. The Igor Sikorsky Kyiv Polytechnic Institute wasn't just a venue.
Right.
They seemed to be really embracing the message of Italian Design Day.
How so?
Well, one of the sources mentioned this installation called DNA of Creativity. Apparently it was created by Paolo Coya
Okay.
back in 2022. And it's located at the university's Square of Knowledge.
DNA of creativity.
Yeah?
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah. And who is Paolo Coya?
He's the architect who actually organized Italian Design Day.
Wait a minute. So the guy who put together this whole event also created an art installation at the university the year before?
Yep.
That's more than just a coincidence.
It is. And the message behind the installation was all about creating a welcoming space for everyone.
Okay.
A space for creative exchange and collaboration.
So by hosting Italian Design Day, the university is kind of doubling down on that message.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, we're not just hosting an event, we're embracing a philosophy.
And that philosophy is all about inclusivity, collaboration, and using design to create a better future.
Precise.
And that's pretty powerful, especially considering that these students are the ones who are going to be leading the charge and rebuilding their country.
It's investing in the future.
It is. Okay, we've talked a lot about the Italian Design Day event itself, but I'm curious to hear more about these specific projects and collaborations. What else did you find in our sources?
Well, one thing that really caught my eye was the exhibition on Villa Il Girasole.
Oh, yeah.
It ran alongside the Italian Design Day events.
Okay.
And it's a fascinating example of Italian rationalist architecture.
Ah.
But more importantly,
Yeah.
it showcases this deeply inclusive approach to design.
I remember reading something about that. It's that villa that's designed to actually rotate with the sun.
Right? That's the one.
So
The
cool.
whole structure is built to follow the sun throughout the day,
Wow.
maximizing natural light for everyone inside.
Huh.
But what makes it truly remarkable
Ah.
is that it was designed with accessibility in mind from the very beginning.
So no matter your physical abilities,
Yeah.
you'd have equal access to light and space.
Exactly.
That's pretty incredible considering it was built back in the 1930s.
It is. It's a reminder that inclusive design isn't some new concept. It's something that architects have been thinking about for decades.
Mm.
And as Ukraine rebuilds,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity to learn from these examples and incorporate those principles into their new structures.
You know, it makes you wonder if this kind of collaboration could actually lead to some innovations in design that we haven't even thought of yet.
Oh, totally.
You've got Italian expertise blending with Ukrainian ingenuity,
Yeah.
and they're facing very specific challenges.
Right.
Who knows what could emerge from that?
It's exciting to think about.
Yeah.
And this exchange of ideas isn't limited to Italian Design Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our sources mentioned that Factoris will be participating in the upcoming Ukrainian Rebuild Conference,
Okay.
which is being held in Italy.
Oh, wow. So they're taking this collaboration international.
They are.
That's a really savvy move.
It is. It's a chance for Ukrainian businesses to showcase their capabilities and innovation on a global stage.
Okay.
And for Italian businesses,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity to see firsthand the potential for investment and partnership in Ukraine.
So it's not just about aid or charity. It's about recognizing that Ukrainian businesses have something valuable to offer the world.
Yeah.
And giving them a platform to do that.
Precisely. And when you think about it,
Yeah.
that shift in perspective is incredibly important.
Okay.
It moves away from the narrative of Ukraine as a recipient of aid
Right.
and towards a narrative of Ukraine as a partner, a collaborator,
Yeah.
and a source of innovation.
And that has to be empowering for the Ukrainian people, especially considering everything they've been through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that struck me while going through these sources
Yeah.
was this incredible resilience of the Ukrainian spirit.
Hmm.
Despite the ongoing conflict,
Yeah.
they're not just focused on survival.
Right.
They're actively planning and building for a brighter future.
That's a really important point. This isn't just about rebuilding what was lost. It's about looking forward and creating something even better.
Exactly.
And design plays a key role in that.
It's a powerful tool for shaping not only physical spaces, but also our communities, our sense of well-being, and ultimately our future. And it goes beyond grand architectural projects, too.
What do you mean?
Well, think about the smaller details,
Okay.
the everyday design choices that impact our lives, the way a park is laid out,
Right.
the accessibility of public transportation, the design of a school or a hospital.
Yeah.
All of these things contribute to our overall sense of well-being and belonging.
So by focusing on these design elements, you can create a more inclusive and resilient society.
Exactly. It's about thinking holistically about how design impacts every aspect of our lives.
Okay.
And using those principles to create a better future for everyone.
Okay, I'm starting to see how design is so much more than just aesthetics.
Right.
It's really about creating spaces and systems that support human thriving.
It is.
But I have to admit, I'm still wrapping my head around how all of this fits together.
Okay.
We've talked about this incredible event, Italian Design Day, and we've touched on some specific projects and partnerships, but
Yeah.
where do we go from here? How do we tie all of these threads together?
That's a great question, and it leads us to a really crucial point. You see all of these amazing things happening,
Yeah.
but what really stands out to you? What resonates the most?
Honestly, what strikes me the most is how this story challenges our preconceived notions of design. We often think of it as something superficial,
Yeah.
something that's nice to have but not essential. But in the context of Ukraine's Reconstruction, we're seeing how design can be a powerful tool for fostering hope, resilience, and a sense of community.
Right.
It's about creating a future where everyone feels like they belong and where their needs are met.
That's a beautiful insight. And it speaks to the deeper potential of design, doesn't it?
does.
It's not just about creating something visually appealing,
Right.
but about creating something that truly serves humanity.
And what's so inspiring is that this isn't just theoretical. It's actually happening right now. Real people are working together using design to rebuild lives and communities.
And that brings us to a final thought-provoking question for you to consider.
Okay.
Given the ongoing conflict and the complexities of rebuilding,
Yeah.
how can design be used to create a sense of healing and reconciliation in Ukraine? How can it help bridge divides and foster a shared sense of identity and purpose?
That's a really powerful question. It makes you realize that design isn't just about bricks and mortar.
Right.
It's about addressing the emotional and social needs of a community as well.
And that's where the true power of design lies. It's not just about creating something new,
Right.
but about creating something that heals, connects, and inspires.
It really is amazing to see how design can be used in such a powerful way, especially in a situation like Ukraine's. I know we've talked a lot about the big picture stuff, but I'm wondering if our sources mentioned any specific examples of how design is being used to foster that sense of healing and reconciliation.
Well, one example that comes to mind is the work of Ukrainian architect Sergei Makhno. His firm has been focusing on creating designs that blend traditional Ukrainian elements with modern sustainable practices.
Oh, I remember seeing some of their work online. It's stunning. They use a lot of natural materials and traditional craftsmanship, but with a really modern sensibility.
Exactly. And that's a really conscious choice.
Right.
By incorporating these traditional elements into their designs, they're not just creating beautiful spaces.
Yeah.
They're also helping to preserve Ukrainian culture and heritage.
Yeah.
It's a subtle but powerful way of reinforcing that sense of identity.
So it's like they're rebuilding not just the physical structures, but the cultural fabric of the country as well.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
And it goes beyond just aesthetics. Think about the psychological impact of being surrounded by familiar forms and materials.
Right.
It can create a sense of comfort and belonging, which is so important in a time of upheaval.
It's like those design choices are saying, this is who we are, this is where we come from, and that can be incredibly grounding, especially when everything around you feels uncertain.
Precisely. And it's not just about preserving the past. It's also about looking to the future. Our sources mention that many Ukrainian designers are incorporating sustainable practices and energy-efficient technologies into their work.
That makes sense. If you're rebuilding, you might as well rebuild in a way that's better for the environment and for the long-term health of the community.
Exactly. And it's a smart move economically, too. Ukraine has the potential to become a leader in sustainable design. And that could attract investment and create new opportunities for growth.
So it's this really interesting blend of honoring the past, embracing the present, and building for the future. It's like design is being used to weave all of those threads together.
And that brings us back to that question we posed earlier. How can design play an even more crucial role in Ukraine's future? We've seen some incredible examples of how it's being used to foster hope, resilience, and a sense of community. But there's always more that can be done.
What kinds of things are you thinking about?
Well, one area that has a lot of potential is the design of public spaces, parks, plazas, community centers. These are the places where people come together, connect, and build relationships.
And if those spaces are well designed, they can really facilitate those interactions.
Right.
Absolutely. Imagine a park that's designed not just for recreation, but also for dialogue and cultural exchange.
Right.
Or a community center that's accessible to people of all abilities and backgrounds.
Right.
These kinds of spaces can help to bridge divides, foster a sense of shared identity, and contribute to the overall healing process.
It's like those spaces become symbols of unity and hope. It's not just about rebooting what was lost, but about creating something new and even better, something that reflects the values and aspirations of the Ukrainian people.
And that's what makes this whole story so inspiring. Despite the immense challenges they're facing, the Ukrainian people are using design as a tool for positive change. They're not just rebuilding their country, they're reimagining it. And that's a powerful testament to the human spirit. You know, as we're talking about this, I can't help but think about the role of technology in all of this. We live in a world where digital tools and platforms are increasingly shaping our lives. How do you see technology impacting the future of design in Ukraine?
That's a great question. Technology is already playing a huge role, and it's only going to become more important in the years to come. Think about things like 3D printing, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence. These technologies have the potential to revolutionize the way we design and build everything from homes to entire cities.
So we could see Ukrainian architects using VR to create immersive walkthroughs of their designs, or using AI to optimize building materials for sustainability and efficiency.
Exactly. And with platforms like Factorist connecting Ukrainian businesses with global partners, it's easier than ever to access these cutting-edge technologies and expertise.
It's really exciting to think about the possibilities. But as with any new technology, there are also potential challenges, right? How do we ensure that these advancements benefit everyone and don't exacerbate existing inequalities?
That's a crucial point. It's important to be mindful of the potential downsides of technology and to ensure that it's used in a way that's equitable and accessible to all.
So it's not just about embracing the latest gadgets, but about using those gadgets in a way that aligns with our values and contributes to a better future for everyone.
Precisely. And that requires thoughtful planning, collaboration, and a commitment to using technology for good.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We started by exploring this unexpected connection between Italian design and Ukraine's Reconstruction. And we ended up talking about everything from cultural heritage to sustainable building practices to the role of technology in shaping the future.
It's amazing how interconnected all of these things are, isn't it?
It really is. And it's a reminder that design is so much more than just aesthetics. It's a powerful tool for problem solving, for creating a more just and equitable world, and for building a future where everyone can thrive.
And as we've seen in the case of Ukraine, it's a tool that can be used to foster hope, resilience, and a sense of community, even in the face of immense challenges.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey.
It was my pleasure.
And for our listeners out there, I encourage you to keep exploring this topic. Learn more about the work of Ukrainian designers, check out Factorist's platform, and consider how design can be used to create positive change in your own community. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
Thanks for tuning in to Made in Ukraine Insights podcast. If today's story inspired you, there's much more to discover. Visit now factorist.com to connect directly with verified Ukrainian manufacturers and explore thousands of products ready for global trade. Our AI-powered B2B marketplace makes international sourcing simple, secure, and efficient. Don't miss out next episode. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform. For exclusive insights and manufacturer spotlights, follow us on LinkedIn and check out the Made in Ukraine magazine. This is Sophia, reminding you that the future of global trade is being shaped right here in Ukraine. Until next time.